Hey everyone, this video is kind of half highly requested and half not. Ever since I talked about it a few times, but ever since the Q&A video I did, will be linked below obviously, I've been getting quite a few messages of people that want to know more about my job and how to work in the music industry. Now, as I said in the Q&A, I really don't want to kind of disclose where I work, and I don't really want my whole job history on the internet, and I just don't think, there's a point, because working in the music industry, there is no set path to do it. Like this, what I'm going to tell you now won't apply to the majority of people at all, because as most creative industries, there is an endless amount of ways to get into it. Some people are literally thrown into it, other people just have a parent that works in it and they're automatically working it too. Other people study and they go kind of an academic path. There is literally so many ways you could end up in the music industry. So as I got all these questions, I didn't really know how to reply to them, so I thought I'm just gonna make kind of a general video where I won't go into super specific things, but I just want this out. I just want to kind of help you to help yourself, basically. So I know a lot of people's dream is to work in music, kind of, don't know, A&R, stuff like that. Whatever your dream is within music, the first thing I want to tell you is you can definitely achieve it. Music industry is sadly an industry that isn't doing too well at the moment. If you're not familiar with the music industry, you might be like, what, really? Look at like Justin Bieber and all those artists, they make millions. Yeah, they do, but they are part of a handful of artists that do that. If you look at most kind of artists, bands that don't play arenas, they are struggling and they are probably in a lot of debt, even though you might not know this. But even bands that seem successful could have like 2 million of debt, and if they broke up, they had nothing. And that's just a reality, because people don't buy music anymore. That's probably one of the main problems, but other than that, the other main problem is that labels and the industry itself hasn't caught up with that fact. So the music industry still runs a very old school model. This is all kind of my opinion mixed in with some fact. And consumers have changed, mediums have changed, everything has changed except the industry themselves. So here we are having this problem where artists don't make enough to live, but people will always consume music in one way or another. But if we can't pay our artists, then where's that music going to come from? So obviously people use Spotify, but streaming really doesn't pay much to the artists, so that's kind of why the music industry at the moment is very difficult to get into, and it's very difficult to make money in it. I'm pretty sure like 10-15 years ago it was much easier, but if you want to get into music industry now, it's pretty much the hardest time ever to do it. But I don't want to discourage you, it can still work. It just kind of depends what you want to do and how long are you willing to work for it. So for me personally, I didn't actually kind of grow up wanting to work in music. For me, it kind of happened naturally through doing my photography. I do some music photography that I kind of fell into as well. Then I interned a few places, and then I worked kind of in a different area but in similar capacity, and then I worked at a label, worked at management company. I just kind of ended up in music, partly also through speaking German, because obviously Germany is a really big music market in itself. So working in London, they always kind of need someone German to liaise with labels in Germany. So I am usually the person to do that. So that's an advantage for me, as well as just having that kind of photography knowledge, videography knowledge. I'm just kind of an all-round person they can use. But the thing is, getting that job in music that pays enough for you to survive is very difficult. And I'm going to tell you now that for most people, getting into music is going to require a lot of unpaid internship, a lot of poverty, and a lot of hard work and overtime, unpaid overtime, and just a lot of kind of trying. Being sociable also helps, which I'm not the best person to talk about, but it helps. Again, there is no set path. You might just intern one place and be so amazing that they immediately offer you a job. You might have to intern at 6 places, and even if you are amazing, they might just not have a job for you, so you just keep interning and applying, and no one will ever give you a job. that's just the reality of it. I mean, I can't even tell you how many applications I sent about 2 or 3 years ago where I just really wanted a entry-level admin job in music. That's all I wanted, and it's hard. It just, no one replies to you. You can send like 100 emails, 100 applications, you'll get nothing back. It kind of takes that one job, and from then on it's easier. And it basically, what I'm trying to say is, it's very difficult, but it's possible. So if you want this, the best advice I can give you is, do not give up, do your best, work really hard, and don't let it bring you down, because that's what happened to me quite a while back. I just got so upset that I just thought, this is not going to happen for me, so I'm just going to give up. But, you know, it takes time. It definitely takes time. You cannot expect to apply for a job, get a job, and then in like 2 years be a manager somewhere. That's just not going to happen. And what I said about, you know, the academic path, it can help, but it won't necessarily help you. So you can study music management, you could study just any kind of music related degree, and then come out of uni and think, oh yeah, now it's going to be really easy for me, I'm just going to apply somewhere and it's going to be super easy. But no. I mean, you might have an easier time getting an internship, because a lot of internships are only offered to recent graduates, so you might snatch up like an internship at Sony or Warner or something, I don't know. So that might be an advantage, but actually getting a job, probably not necessarily easier. Most of the music industry people that are kind of high up that I know never went to uni. They just did it through hard work, and yeah, just through hard work basically. So I don't know if this helped anyone, because it's such a hard thing to talk about, because there is no way of me being like, this is what you have to do and then you can work in music. You just have to get creative yourself basically. You have to hassle people, you have to just work really hard, be very passionate about it, and maybe start your own thing. That's another thing I can really recommend. I also recommend that with music photography. Start a blog, start a website, start a YouTube channel where you review gigs, stuff like that, because that just shows how passionate you are. So if you have a YouTube channel where you review gigs all the time, where you can show that you go to gigs all the time, when you then apply to a company where you, for example, want to be an A&R assistant or something, you can then be like, I go to gigs all the time, I review gigs all the time, I have a really good ear for new talent, I really want this, and then they'll be more convinced because they can see that you want that. But if you just write an application like, dear sir or madam, I really want to work at your company because I like music, they'll just be like, no. So that's another thing. Just do your own thing and apply to places and talk to people. Get to know people, make friends in the industry. Just go to a lot of gigs, as many as you can, and that should really help you. So yeah, I really do hope this, even if it just helped you a tiny bit, I hope it did. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I'll try and answer them. I might not be able to, but I'll try. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Good luck with your future endeavors, and see you next time. Bye!